All right, we are live. It's Levack and Goz. It is a Tech East Tuesday, the first Tech East Tuesday of 2022, but not live at Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. We're best way back to normal because somebody didn't feel good and didn't feel right trying to infect the other person, which tells you it's me who is being responsible because Goz is okay with infecting me at any time. But my negativity shown through again, though. I am negative. I don't have COVID. I don't have the Ronas. But I just like head cold, headache, stuff. And I just figured it was probably better not be with you,
You want to see how long this can last. If I had known about this for years as your thought process, we could have done the show like this for years. This technology was out here. Never would have had to talk to Goz.
Remember, they wanted us to do this in the beginning of Ronas. But, they didn't realize they didn't have the technology to do it. So, if in the very beginning of the world stopping for Rona the first time, they wanted Goz and I to just kind of all right, just leave the board on and then dial in and do the show. And then Levack, you can run it remotely. And I was like, there's a lot of things right about what you're saying, but what happens when the power goes out? What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if there's too many what happens if? And we'll get a board op. And I was like, wait a minute. So my prima donna ass and Goz's prima donna ass are too valuable to walk out into the world of Rona. But some minimum wage kid we're gonna stuff him in. It's like, nah, we'll just go in. We'll just go in. We'll do it. We'll just do it. We'll be fine. And here we are, the 63rd different kind of Rona is out there. And I've been tested a handful of times. So unless I've had it and just didn't have any symptoms, because I didn't do the antibody test this time, I still, knock on wood, haven't had it. I thought for sure this time I had it. I had a headache, sore throat, I was achy. And then I realized, you haven't been sick in a year and a half. You don't know what that feels like anymore. You're just sick, jackass. And here we are. So here we are.
I'm like Odell Beckham Jr. I've decided I'm not going to get it.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's listen.
Science.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I have a group of friends who are all very similar. They're all the same age, similar physicality, similar blah 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 blah. Health wise, and one just had it and he said he had the sniffles. Another one had it and he had double pneumonia. So it's you're at this point, you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. And that's all there is to it as far as I'm concerned. So, and coming from a guy who had to pick his own nose this morning with a giant Q-tip, which apparently is the only way to pick your nose. I got so much out and now I feel so disgusting for all those poor nurses who have had to pick my nose. And I wondered why none of them ever called me. Now I know. There's slime monsters in your nose. No matter what you do, they're in there. So Tech East Tuesday, even though it's not a typical Tech East Tuesday. And at any time, I'm just going to walk out of here because any day is a half day if you're just willing to leave.
That's a quote from Antonio Brown. That's right. Just do it, Michael Jordan, right? Nike, the great. I got an Ali poster behind me. It's got a bunch of his quotes, and now that one for Antonio Brown.
Well, I love the train wreck that is AB, and I love the people that are willing to die on the hill that were all mean to him. And I wanted this time to work for him, partially for you. You're a big Buccaneers fan. I knew that he was never coming to the Raiders again, and I don't ever want him on the Raiders again. That train wreck was terrible, but he wasn't medicated properly at the time. I thought for sure this was the time. He respects Brady. He clearly listens to Arians on some level, or at least did. And then this thing happens at the Jets. We were at Jets Chiefs, was it 2-3 years ago? When
yes.
Was it Marcus Peters flipped out and thought he got kicked out of the game and threw his shoe into the stand or whatever? What is it with Jet Life? Because this doesn't happen to the Giants. What is it with Jet Life that if you're teetering, if you're on the brink, you're going over?
Well, Zach, I'll take it even one step further. We're at that Marcus Peters game. My first Bills game I was ever at, I was at Bills Chargers. I think this is 2018, the home opener for the Bills that year. And I'm watching the Antonio Brown play happen. I think, wow, I've never seen anything like this happen in my life as a football fan. No, I'm wrong. I was at the game where Vontae Davis quit and retired at halftime. where he just left and said, no, I'm retired. What do you mean retired? I'm just done. Packed up his stuff, quit the team, retired and walked. I was at that game. So not only have I seen it. Yeah, right.
But that speaks to how crazy AB is. Because here's a guy who did something we never thought anybody else would do. AB went, oh, you quietly left during the half? I'm walking out in the middle of the game. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm getting crazy. Like, all the jokes of, like, the Jets didn't notice because that's what their fans do is leave angrily in the half every game. I was, okay, fine. But, the Jets played a hell of a game. That might have been the best Jets game in a tight loss, poorly managed, whatever you want to say, to the Buccaneers that I've seen in forever. Excuse me for that burp. I didn't think it was going to be as loud as it was. But it's crazy. Michael Carter looks like a legit running back. Braxton Berrios was a playmaker in that game. Zach Wilson, with the exception of, calling his own number at the wrong time, and I love big game Bob Saleh coming to his defense and saying we didn't make it clear to him not to do that. Like, there's a million things that game should be known for, but all it's going to be known for is Camo agrees, is that AB snap. No, seriously, dog. I'm not having a conversation. He wants to talk about the Browns.
Yeah, I watched every single play of that Buccaneers-Jets game. My cousins are both huge Jets fans. We made it a big deal. We're going to watch the game together. And like you said, the Jets played great. They looked like a different team for the Jets, and it came down to one play, and they decided, we're not going to kick the field goal. We're going to give Tom Brady the ball down by less than a touchdown with no timeouts and 2 minutes to go, even without Antonio Brown, with Chris Godwin. Didn't matter. Brady goes down the field, wins the game. Classic Tom Brady and everything else. If you're watching,
I don't have a problem. Do you have a problem with the call going forward and fourth? I don't have a problem with it because I think you're going to lose anyway, right?
I think I don't love the play call going forward on fourth versus the play call. Yeah, are two different things because Braxton Berrios was having a great game. You could have found a way to get him the football. Even though there's huge dudes up front for the Bucs on that defensive line, he didn't have to run right at the two biggest ones. Might have wanted to just the play was, and by the way, Zach Wilson's not Ben Roethlisberger. Like, Zach Wilson is not Cam Newton. He's not a huge guy where maybe his body would have been able to bull himself over for 2 yards. The play call was bad. The decision was fine. If they kicked the field goal and Brady went down and they tied it, went to overtime, you shrug your shoulders on that too, but bad play call.
Do you realize, though, if they did pull that off, they would have beat the Bengals, the Titans, and the Buccaneers this year? Like,
what?
I mean, they beat the Bengals and the Titans this year. They beat the Jags. But, this would have been their fourth home win, and it would have been three, playoff, maybe championship caliber teams. If you're a Jets fan, as much as you can sit here and be ticked off that they didn't kick or that they haven't, maybe you haven't seen enough from Wilson or, is Mekhi Becton going to eat less and play more? You got to kind of look at this year and go, hell, I'd rather be green than blue right now. I'd rather be the Jets than the Giants at this moment.
The future is far more exciting for the Jets and the Giants because of those things said. Young impact players, you have an idea of where the direction of the team might go. You've got a bunch of picks from the Jamal Adams trade. You've got some good things. Yeah, for the Giants, I don't even want to do it anymore. How many weeks in a row do I have to say it's embarrassing and hard to watch? Haven't I piled on enough for the Giants since Halloween? That's it. It's just terrible. They might be the worst team in football because of where they were and where they are. Jacksonville, Houston, those are the worst teams. But at least I look at those teams and I go, you do have Trevor Lawrence. Maybe whoever the coach is, maybe you'll get it right this time. Houston, Mills looks like he might almost be salvageable. I don't even know. I don't know if he's gonna be like a franchise quarterback, but could he be that gateway, that bridge quarterback that everybody likes to find? Maybe. I don't know what Daniel Jones is because he never gets to play. I know Gettleman's got to go. I know everybody's calling for Judge right now, and it's just even the bad times. The way Judge handles the bad times this year compared to the way big game Bob Saleh has, the Jets look brighter. They look like they got a brighter future. Ryan McCarthy does not agree with you. It looks like here on our YouTube side. The loss in the Jets was the fact they ran for 150 yards on third-ranked rushing defense in the league. I don't know. I think they lost. I thought the Jets put themselves in position to win that game. They lost because they're not as good as the Bucs. I know that's a very weak answer, Ryan. You probably don't like it, but it's That's what I felt watching that game. They just didn't have the talent they had, and they put themselves in every position to do it except the fourth down call.
Well, and not to like let's be real. Like Zach Wilson had success with QB sneaks in the past. It was a dumb play, but he's a rookie. And Saleh kind of took the hit. He's like, dude, we did not make it clear to him. Do not get out. It has to. I don't care what you see. Even though we've taught you to read the defense, Barrios gets the ball. I mean, Saleh said it, and I love it. Is it real? Like, did Saleh secretly want to choke Zach Wilson on the sideline? Like, maybe. But you got a rookie head coach. You got a rookie QB. They're going to war together. He's saying, like, he's charmingly disarming us from being annoyed at the quarterback. Tell me one person who honestly believed the Jets were going to win that game. Tell me one person that thought the Jets would cover in that game. I thought about it for a heartbeat. I didn't have the stones for it. So if you're a Jets fan, pump, as our buddy Trav said, pump the brakes, relax. Everything, you're all gas, no brakes. You're on your way. All gas, no brakes. I agree with both. They played their best game of the season. Oh, all right.
All right. Well, you know what? I like it better when you agree with us, Ryan. I say that.
Yeah. I mean, I like it better when I pretend I don't know who Ryan is. But,
do you want to go back? Do you want to go back to your theory for the podcast audience, the non-traditional media audience? There are some people, Levack, who have maybe never heard your theory, and I have mocked you. You could rank this number one on the things that I've mocked you the most about your takes. I've called you a fool. You need your head examined, I guess, pun intended on that one here. For those who have not heard your take about Antonio Brown and why you think he's, let's say, lost common sense, would be the nice way to phrase that.
Nutty.
Reset that take for us, because I think you have more supporters than I've ever realized on this.
Well, he's nuttier than squirrel turds, I think is what we're going with. And I know that's not appropriate to say in the woke culture. Listen, he was such a great player for so long. And when you look at the timetable of Vontaze Burfict attempting to decapitate him, coming across the middle, and how quickly he just kind of goes into that spiral afterwards, it's not hard to kind of piece it together and go, I wonder if head trauma, CTE, is the real problem here. And I think if you look at his history, like Antonio Brown's always had some form of, imbalance, I guess is probably the nicest way to put it. But if you take that together with now head trauma, CTE, which we know is extremely dangerous, extremely changing, makes guys aggressive, makes them all these things. It kind of looks like maybe the straw that broke the camel's back was the hit that broke his brain. So I'm glad that you finally realized I'm always right. And here we are. AB, he's worse because of what happened.
If you agree with Levack's comment, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, leave a comment. I know you got a bunch of comments on yours, Levack, about some stuff people want to talk about today too. I will just respond with this and say, each day I feel less and less confident that my mocking of you might have been the right way to handle that, because so many people bring it back up again. Look, scientifically, we have to find a way to prove that's the case. But I think what I get more frustrated with Antonio Brown is that he quit my team, the Bucks. He quit your team, the Raiders. And I go to social media. There was a time 20 years ago, like when T.O. When T.O. wasn't the Eagles, people ripped T.O., and rightfully so, Terrell Owens, because of what he was doing and how he's destroying the team and acting like a prima donna, all that stuff. And he got roasted nationally for how he acted. What's happened in 2022 is that nobody wants to take the mental health and injuries and CTE. I fear that some athletes use that as a shield. Like, no, I'm not a horrible person. I've got this. I've got that. And they might. But I get frustrated when people try to use a shield for them. Like, you can just be awful. Like, you can just be a horrible teammate. You can be a diva. I just don't like that they're shielded by some people in the media and fans and everything.
Levack and Goz Tech East Tuesday, not at Tech East because I'm a responsible and great human being. I think it's interesting, and this is, who knows, maybe this is the one that finally gets me canceled. Let's say that let's just take it. CTE 100% at certain level makes you violent, makes you extra aggressive, changes your capacity to, process information to where you become dangerous. I get it. It's not 100% your fault that it's there, but don't we still kind of watch you? hold you accountable, keep an eye on you. I mean, like, mental illness is a terrible thing, and we're trying to find a way to get through it and whatever. But there's guys whose mental illness, and women, I shouldn't just say guys, but serial killers are primarily white males. Thanks a lot, white guys. Like, you don't sit there and go, oh, I feel terrible for this guy that ate 3 people because he's imbalanced. It's not, lock that prick up. Let's go. Like, and obviously it's an extreme example, but that's kind of my point. Like, regardless of why someone is violent, aggressive, over the top, you're still looking at the base of it. They're violent, aggressive, they're over the top, they're irrational, they're a bad teammate now. Why do you keep signing the guy? Oh, because he can catch touchdowns. That's why. But like, I think if you're somebody who signs AB at this point, you get what you pay for. You can't go, I can't believe he walked out at halftime. You can't say, I can't believe he slapped an Uber driver or whatever. Like, you can't say, you
farted
no longer
in the
get to say
face.
that.
Farted in the doctor's face.
Yes, you can't farted in the doctor's. You can't be like, I can't believe that happened. He told me it wouldn't. Yeah, he told every team it wouldn't happen. It happened. So, like, I think you take it into account. You use it on how you process the rest of the information. But the bottom line is, dude's not a good teammate. He has lost his ever-loving mind. And sure, I guess I could feel bad for him on some level. But as a Raiders fan who already went through what you're going through, now you can see it's like everybody laughed at the Raiders. Okay, well, tell me, you lining up to sign the guy? I know some people still are, which is amazing to me. Like, okay, if I need one route run, I need one big game, sure, rock and roll. Let's give the ball to AB. But if I need somebody who's not going to blow up my locker room, I'm not signing AB.
Who is it? Like, Jocinda Anderson had that report out there today. She's like, I know for a fact teams want Antonio Brown. I'm like, did you not have your TV on Sunday? What happened? Your
boy last night hit us both in a text. Your boy from Johnstone.
Tom McGrath, Johnstone Supply and Troy. That's right.
Yeah. He said, we're going to sign AB and we're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, dude, you're getting Derrick Henry back. You got AJ Brown. You don't need AB. Anybody whose team has not been annihilated by AB wants him back. Wants him because they just see the speed. They see the great routes. They see the whatever. It's craziness. What is this dog doing? Dog's crazy. The dog. By the way, Speaking of T.O., he left the door open on his podcast to come out of retirement and play for the Bucs. Do you want him?
No, never.
No. Sorry, no.
Please, no.
No.
Shout out to Cam. Happy to have us back. Thanks, Cam.
Look at Instacam going with the, like, I started calling him Instacam because he's on Instagram. Now he's even made himself a logo. Look at him, little go-getter.
Look at that. Brain at its finest, Cam. I like it.
There it is. I get royalties. You start making money on that, Cam. I want some cheddar. I want a little something this way too. Don't you forget about me.
Yeah, Cam. You know what, Cam? I saw you got another NFL question for us. I want to get to that in a second. I know Levack does too, but I also want to tell you about our friends at Mohawk Honda, Levack. 2022 is here. The new rides, the new vehicles, the new inventory, all those great things are happening with our friends at Mohawk Honda. Shout out to Greg Johnson. Levack, I don't know if I told you this or not. We are going to be there next Thursday, January 13th, 4 to 5:30. We'll be broadcasting live from Mohawk Honda. Put it on your calendar. Next Thursday, 4 to 5:30, we'll be out live again, broadcast from Mohawk Honda. Going to find out about all the great selection of vehicles, great people, your time in 2022 to meet with them. Cam McKenna, Brian McKenna, Lindsey Harridan, Jotted Service, MJ. We know everybody over there. It's so cool to work with people that you can trust during that car buying experience that you want to recommend. Yes, Levack.
Will you promise not to ruin my equipment this time?
I will post that on social media, a victory lap, if I don't ruin your equipment. What do you think Lindsay's going to show up with this time? Just like a baseball bat swinging it around at me. Stay away.
She looked so good, though. She looked like straight up Catwoman, man. She had this great outfit working. I almost wore the exact same one. It would have been weird. She's the Han Diva. I'm just the fat ass who talks about cars.
If you want to see a potential table break like the Dudley Boys, or potentially equipment be ruined, your day is next Thursday at Mohawk Honda, and you can walk away with the new ride. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Yeah.
If you ever do that again, I get to powerbomb you through the table.
Shades of Bubba Ray and Mae Young.
It's putting us both in the hospital because my back will never be the same. I'm too fat for this crap, but I'll do it. If I gotta be laid up in the hospital, it's be next to you because I powerbombed you through a table at Mohawk Honda.
That's the way. You know what? If that's the way I go, I think I'm okay with it.
Speaking of
That's
power
the way
bombs,
to check
complete change of subject, and we can do the right thing in a minute. I'm sorry that I'm completely skipping.
No,
I watched a little bit of the wrestling on
Yeah?
Saturday, the day one. Liv Morgan, did you see, like, she did like a springboard somerset power bomb on Becky Lynch when she was suspended in the corner. I've never seen anything like it. It should be a finishing move, but there's no way you could set it up. I was like, the fact that this girl's not going to win this match right now, and by the way, one of the ugliest matches I've ever seen. Both of them suck. They're both terrible wrestlers. I'm sorry. I love Becky Lynch. Love when she has the microphone. Liv Morgan needs work on that, but they are terrible. I'm amazed that Becky Lynch does not hurt more people, including herself, with how bad she is at the wrestling. But she did one of the coolest moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, like Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, you know what they are? They're what Zack Ryder or CM Punk were like 10 years ago. Of WWE just looks at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. They're like, wow, a lot of people are talking about these two constantly. Now, Liv's a little different. Liv likes putting some pictures of herself up that are a little bit
risque.
Yeah, risque. Mandy Rose is like that too, but good for them. You know what? They're using their platforms how they can to get noticed. And that match wasn't great. Not good at all. Brock Lesnar's the champion again, like it's 2011 all over again.
What's that whole thing? I wonder what they would have done. I wonder what they would have done if Roman Reigns hadn't had the Ronas. Rona Reigns.
I think they would have had those guys go at it again at the Rumble, but now it's Bob Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
It is. If you want to do the rapid recap, you feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Little foosball talk now that we've talked about your boy AB. I love they haven't cut him yet, by the way. I love they haven't cut him yet. Why let somebody else sign him?
It's got to be a money thing, right? It's got to be like if he retired, then they don't have to pay him. That's what I'm assuming.
I think it's partially that. And it's also like there's certain, like once he jumps through a few hoops, if they release him, he can sign somewhere else. So why would I give him to the Rams? You know what I mean? Why would I give him to anyone else? Like I'll just, you signed a deal. You screwed yourself out of at least $1 million with all those thresholds that were set for yourself. You had a chance to make, a couple more catches, couple more yards, another touchdown. You could have made up to $1 million more. Guess what? You sit there and you think about what you've done. I will rub your nose in these touchdowns. Yes, we both did it. Jake's finding code. All right, the not so rapid recap here during a Tech East Tuesday. First things first, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. 29-15 over the Falcons. Don't look now. The Bills can actually run the football, and somebody must have forgot to give old man Matt Ryan his tapioca pudding because he was feisty. He was putting his finger in people's faces. He was being very rude for that nasty old man.
Matt Ryan got a personal foul. What would the odds have been at Rivers for a Matt Ryan personal foul call? Yeah, Buffalo was threatened by Atlanta at some point, and then talent took over, and coaching took over, and better quarterback play, and Josh Allen has another good game. Buffalo, better team, good victory, but they're more interested in what's going to happen this week and that wild card expanded week, which I'm sure we're going to get to here in a little bit.
233 yards on the ground. 233 yards again. Devin Singletary, 23 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 15 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not so stellar in the air, but, I mean, if they can run the ball effectively, I don't know anybody who wants to see the Buffalo Bills. I don't know any team that wants to play the Buffalo Bills at that point, but they have to do that consistently. By the way, one more win from the Buffalo Bills, and Boston Dan has to take me to Yankee Stadium.
Aha! Take that, Boston Dan.
Take it. You take it. Hey, I don't know if you knew this. Giants are kind of rough. 29-3 to the Bears. I don't want to use words like, pathetic, inept, tragic, but I could, and they'd all be about the Giants.
I had the Giants on the second screen on Sunday, and I just kept saying out loud randomly at parts of the game, I was like, the Giants are so bad. The Giants are terrible. The Giants are just could not resist crapping on the Giants for how bad. The whole thing from Mike Lennon it doesn't even matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the offensive line is. No. Saquon Barkley, you blame him, but now you're just trying to find a escape. The whole thing is a mess. I believe it was the New York Post today who ran a long article called the Gettleman Mess, where they just went through everything for the last 4 years, like down the list.
I believe he called them the Hog Follies or something like that.
So you saw it.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks because there's talent. Like there is talent, but it doesn't all work together. None of it's healthy. I don't think Joe Judge is a bad coach, but I think Joe Judge is a terrible public speaker because he lets everyone rile him up, and he makes himself look like he shouldn't have the job. And I still think there's a really good chance that he is that leader that everybody thought he was. But I mean, just look, you went into that game against a team that if you just played well, their head coach wasn't getting on the he was fired. It was over. And you got a mistake of execution. That's how bad you played. The Bears, sorry, John Daniel. The Bears are terrible. They're not good. The Bears are not good. But the Giants made them look like an actual NFL football team, which is sad. Very sad. I feel terrible for you guys. We already kind of talked about this one. Jets lose to the Bucs 28-24. Jets played so good that AB snapped, left the field, said, F this, it's a half day. Peace out, Girl Scout. I'm going to go get in the Uber with Danny Boy Hustle Hard and call it a week. Bye.
You know what?
By the way, he's still in New York. He was at the Nets game like last night. So He's still in New York.
Sid Courtside, I love how you just pulled up the Danny Boy Hustle Hard because, like you, I was very fascinated by this Uber driver. I went on his Instagram. I Googled his name. I read his story. Just worked his way. He is a fascinating character, that Uber driver, the celebrity chauffeur, and his background and everything else. So
he's not opportunistic. He's Uber-tunistic. Huh? Thank you.
Insta can't make the graphic for that, huh?
Even the dog gave me a dirty look. Even Camo the dog just gave me a dirty look. He's like looking over me. He's like, seriously, someone else adopt me. Anyone else adopt me.
You would have won that game, Jets fans, if Tom Brady's not the quarterback. Simple as that. If Jameis Winston's the quarterback or anybody else is quarterback, the Buccaneers over the last 10, 15 years, it's a Jet victory. The difference is the GOAT driving down the field and doing what he does. And Gronk was great too.
He's kind of good. He might have a nice golden jacket in his future. Moving on, the Raiders. How about the Raiders beating the Colts 23-20? I'd celebrate, but Nate Hobbs did it enough for all of us. So, yeah. So there's that.
That's a great victory, Levack, over the Colts. That has completely changed this season. Not Hobbs. I know Hobbs is trying to ruin it. Like, it always seems like something good goes well for the Raiders and somebody ruins it. But
I think he might have ruined it.
You've got him back in playoff contention. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, but all right, so if you beat – so now the Raiders-Chargers game, Rex, has been moved to the Sunday night game because winning you're in. So basically the playoffs start this week for the AFC West, right? But how do you keep coming back from these things? Like the Gruden situation with the emails, I still think probably should have kept his job. I'm a mean person who thinks that, violent acts are worse than words. Just the whole, I can't even talk about the worst thing I've ever seen as you're doing 150, 120 when you collide into a car drunk and kill a woman. All these things. And then this dude still drinks and drives. This guy still drinks and drives. Still. I know you're a rookie and you don't have gajillions of dollars yet. I bet you got 25. Danny Boy Hustle Hard would have come to Vegas and got you. He would have flown, hang out up on a plane. Like, I don't. And I got a feeling he actually gets away with this too, by the way, because his lawyer's already kind of shooting holes in why he was arrested and everything. But it's just, you can't keep making this poor judgment. And I've had people, my friend Michelle reached out, said, boy, maybe Vegas isn't the right place for the Raiders. I'm like, don't blame Vegas. Nashville's a great party city. Miami's a great party city. Hell, you can get in a lot of trouble in Buffalo, okay? These guys are just being jackasses. I can't help but wonder if Ruggs and Hobbs and Arnett, if Gruden's still there, do they pull this crap? Like, nothing against Massachi. I think he's doing a yeoman's work. But that's not dad. That's not the guy who can come and yell. I wonder if Gruden was dad enough, these guys wouldn't have made these mistakes. But then again, Josh Jacobs made the same mistake last year. I don't know. Just something about the way this year just is cascading towards the toilet bowl. And heaven forbid that a fan freaks out, but I'm freaking out.
And you can add Mike Mayock to that questionable desire. Look, good people can make bad mistakes, but the thing you just brought up about a teammate having a horrible life-changing incident happen and not having just flat-out common sense to be like, you know what? This is something I should never do to begin with. But the impact that it just had on my teammate's life, it should change how I think about that for the rest of my life. The fact that never clicked is something that needs to be evaluated within that player and organization and everything else. I just want to add one other thing too, math-wise. You mentioned the Sunday night football game between the Chargers and Raiders is winning your end, which is true. However, and I'm sure you know this, but some may not, if the Colts are somehow beaten by the Jags, both teams are in the playoffs and the game ends in a tie. Could we see a knee-off between the teams on Sunday night? Remember we had the bomb of a game last year with the Eagles that they're sitting the players for draft picks? Could the NBC big-time game of the night tank again with a knee-off between Chargers and Raiders for the tie? I don't think so.
No, especially because how much they hate each other. Like the Raiders and the Chargers, like I don't have to know you. If you show up in a powder blue, we're probably not going to get along. I think Michael Arce, who used to be one of the big guys over at Vet Fitness, maybe my only friend who's a Chargers fan. Like he might be the only dude I know who I'm actually friends with a Chargers. I'm sure some of you are out there too, but you don't proudly say you're a Chargers fan because no one does. I mean, it's kind of a sad life for you guys. You don't even get to play home games in your own stadium. But look, I'm not. Stop me when I'm lying. But like you can't let the other team in. Like if you had nothing to play for, like I thought the Browns against the Steelers, I thought the Browns were going to show up big just to make sure the Steelers were out of it. We'll talk about that coming up. But like you can't let that other team get in. Like if you whatever you got to do. I'm coming back from IR, coming back early. I'm beating that team and not letting them in. So no, you want to make sure if you can keep the other team out, you're going for it. You're going for it. Levack and Goz, live here, Tech East Tuesday. Not so rapid recap. Raiders, I had hope for a minute, and then they took it away. Bengals topped the Chiefs 34-31. I don't know if you know this. Joe Burrow's kind of good. I think Joe Burrow's pretty good. He could be okay. He could actually have a career. I mean, this was the matchup I hoped it would be. The only thing that would make this better is if this is the AFC Championship game or like a playoff game that we get to see again. These two teams playing each other is fun. I want to see Mahomes Burrow 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
If I was a young sports fan right now, you are in. I was telling this to my cousin. These guys get too many shout outs now in this podcast. Third time I've given a reference. They are growing up with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, this glory era of quarterbacks we just got out of Manning and Brady and Breeze and Roethlisberger and Rivers, and Manning, so the Giant fan doesn't get mad at me. The new era's here. If I was a kid, Joe Burrow would be my guy, along with Lamar Jackson and all the rest of it. But, like, there is something different about Joe Burrow's swag, right? Like, did you see him doing the gat dance in the locker room, hitting the fat cigar?
Right. The cigar's become his thing. The cigar is definitely his thing.
I saw a tweet, which I think is a little too harsh. It was Dominic Foxworth, I believe, who just sent it out that said, Joe Burrow is what the Browns wanted Baker Mayfield to be. The number one overall pick who was a Heisman Trophy winner, who's got some swag and some arrogance, who can run an offense. Now, Baker won a playoff game last year. Baker got Cleveland to the playoffs. Was he as remarkable as Joe Burrow in those games? No. Baker statistically had one of the great rookie seasons of all time in NFL history. We can't take that away from him. So I think it's a little too harsh, but the point is that you and I said this on our final show of 2021. I said to you, what would it take for us to believe in Cincinnati as a top team in the AFC, even if they go out and beat Kansas City? And it's about the tradition of the franchise. That's it. Like, if this was a different named team, if this was Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Colts, we would say this could be a top contender. But the fact that Cincinnati has not won a playoff game in 30 years is the reason I'm going to doubt Cincinnati. I'm rooting for them, just like I told you last week. Joe Burrow is amazing. Jamar Chase, an all-time great rookie season. Yes, he can catch a football. Quiet you people in August. That's what it's about, though. I want Cincy to win because I love the swag and I love the future of that franchise.
Jamar Chase greater than Vincent Chase?
Not yet.
No, okay, all right. Just check.
He might be on my Mount Rushmore of Chases, though. I'll give him that.
And how about Burrow playing most of the game without his name on the back because they, like, ripped it off? Like, that's a sign, too. Like, Burrow's doing this while getting slapped around. So, like, he's got to stay healthy through all this. That's going to be number one. He stays healthy. Him and Joe Mixon in that backfield with that wide receiver core. That's a fun offense to watch. And they beat the Chiefs, and I don't like the Chiefs. So old Patty Mahomes over there beat it. Titans squished the fish 34-3. Titans beat the Dolphins. Imagine if the Titans had a quarterback. How good could this team be if it wasn't Ryan Tannehill? under center. I mean, they are so close, and they're about to get the King Henry back. But again, Ryan Tannehill, you can't win a championship with Ryan Tannehill. I'll die on that hill.
That's it. Like, that's as simple as it is. I'm glad we did Bengals and Titans back to back, because that's the knock on both franchises. Cincinnati, the lack of history, and that you just can't believe in somebody who hasn't done something for 30 years. And for Tennessee, if the game is close in the fourth quarter, do you believe Ryan Tannehill can lead a team down the field and win the game? That is hard for me to believe. I'm totally with you on that. That's it for Tennessee, though, for criticisms, because if Tennessee wins this week, they're the top seed in the AFC. They did it without Derrick Henry. And I'll bring him up one more time, Tom, who's a huge Titan fan, had a long paragraph, and I felt bad because you guys were having a back and forth. I read none of your texts. I was watching Ted Lasso like you told me I had to, because I finally got some free time.
Great show.
Night.
Great show.
So good. I'm 5 episodes in. We were going. That's when you know it's good, right? We're like, I got another one left in me. I got another one left in me.
Right. All of a sudden, your bloodshot eyes the next day. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, that's and for Miami's side of it, they just ran out of gas finally, right? Like they had 7-8 wins in a row. All right, you can only pull that off so often in professional sports.
Man, you know what's going to happen now, though, right? So the Raiders will win against the Chargers, because the Chargers still are a choke artist team. I'm sorry. They're close, but they're just not quite there. And then Tennessee will end up being the second seed, which means the Raiders will play the Titans wild card weekend. And I'm going to have to listen to yo boy right up until the game happens. And unless there's like some serious magic in my boy Derek Carr, 29 comeback wins, 24 championship drives. I'm just saying he's a hell of a winner. They're going to lose to the Titans, and I'm going to have to listen to your boy. That's all there is to it.
He's decided to chime in. He just wrote Tanny time.
Tanny time, I have to assume, means he has to poop. Ryan Tannehill is crap. He's a large pile of crap.
You know what I hope now? Even though that scenario would not be great for your Raiders, there is a possibility, right, that we could – oh, no, they didn't, because they moved some games now to Monday. I was going to say, in the old school days, you could have had a possibility of – no, it's 2 games Saturday, 2 games Saturday. I wanted to see like a 1-4-8 where we could have seen your Raiders, my Bucks, and the Titans all on the same day somewhere. But I don't think that actually can happen anymore. Raiders
are going to play if the Raiders make it. If which is – again, I've been a Raiders – there's a point in my life when I was like, when the Raiders win, that's a long time ago. If the Raiders make it, it will be against the Titans, and I'll have to listen to your boy. That's all there is to it. We may have to have like a facial hair bet on the game. I have to do his stupid facial hair, or he has to grow out the beard. I don't know. We have to figure something out. Or he has to get mutton chops. If the Raiders win, I'll do his stupid thing. If the Titans win, even though I know
sounds like a deal.
But I know that, I know the Titans are going to win that game. It might be the last game they win all year, but it's just because the Raiders, couple 2-3 things went wrong for the Raiders this year. Couple 2-3, that's all. All right, you know that GIF, that meme GIF, whatever the F it is, where Wolverine's looking at the photo of Jean Grey lovingly, thinking about what he wishes he had. Do you think Trevor Lawrence does that with a picture of Bill Belichick, as he gets crushed 50-10? Mac Jones looks like a stud again. Bill Belichick is so good at bringing along a young quarterback. Mac Jones looks great. Trevor Lawrence trying to do too much. I don't know if he'd take him or not. I don't know what they would do. But 5-0 to 1-0, Pats win over the Jags.
When we look back on the schedule for 2021, if people do this when they reevaluate their wagers, this must have been the easiest money of the season to win. Now it's easy to say hindsight.
Though.
I know, but it looks so easy. Everything about it. Belichick, this no coach in Jacksonville, rookie quarterback who stinks. I have to say it now. My buddy Sir Bert on Twitter, he's been riding me all year. I had to finally confess and be like,
Kinky.
He stinks. Trevor Lawrence is terrible. What the hell happened? He is so bad, Levack. He is awful. I don't know if they can fix him. You and I have had conversations. I don't know if I want to say this guy's name, but it's an inside guy who tells us a lot about quarterbacks that he's told us about why this quarterback developed, why he didn't, why this coaching staff worked, why he didn't. He might have been very biased to some of the players he worked with and trained. I think that's a big enough clue on the table for who it is. But Trevor Lawrence is bad. Oh, do you want to just say it? Do I just say Jordan Palmer?
Jordan Palmer, yeah.
Jordan Palmer.
Jesse Palmer. I'm good. Jordan Palmer.
I want him back on the show. I don't want to bird that.
Well, yeah, but of course, I don't think you can judge Lawrence yet. Here's the deal. Jacksonville, why aren't you talking to Brian Daboll? Why aren't you doing it? Like, go find a guy who can help him turn the corner. Hell, go talk to Dabo Sweeney. I don't care. Go find somebody, because what happened is you threw him into the deep end. What happened is Urban Meyer said, "Oh, I've got a freshman phenom quarterback. It'll be great." Yeah, but you know what? This ain't Ohio State. This ain't Florida. This is the NFL. You have a freshman phenom quarterback who's about to get worked by some grown damn men. Like, and you, I thought you were kinky. This is, you can't judge this kid yet. You just can't yet. How he handles this year, he's actually done some things that have really impressed me. Like, I'm not a big fan of guys going against their coach, but I am when it's a quarterback who realizes his coach is wrong, the best players are being mistreated, and he says something. Like, you imagine a rookie speaking out against, hell, like Rex Ryan. Like, Rex Ryan would eat them alive. Like, Urban Meyer is football Jesus in parts of Florida and Ohio, and this kid had the balls to come out and speak on behalf of his guys. So he's got leadership qualities. We'll see what happens. You can't judge him this year. I just can't. Maybe you can.
He's got to find another head coach to help that team. I don't know if you've seen the story what's happening in Jacksonville. You and I, before we turned on the mics, we're talking about Trent Baalke, the GM now of the Jags, who, if you're not familiar with him, was the guy the Niners picked over Jim Harbaugh, who said, "We think it's the GM who made us good for 3 straight NFC title games, not our coach." How dumb of a move that was when he fired back-to-back, hired the coach Jim Tom Sula. Go ahead, Levack. There you go. And Chip Kelly, who actually, NFL-wise, record-wise, not as bad as people think, but that was a mess in San Francisco. The Jag fans are planning on, thousands of Jaguar fans are showing up to the stadium dressed as clowns in a protest of Trent Baalke. They want him fired so bad they're all going to the game as clowns. I want photos of this is really going to be a thing in Jacksonville.
I mean, listen, that's phenomenal. Go for it. Get you some. Levack and Goz, it's a Tech East Tuesday, Tech East Fire and Water Restoration. Your best way back to normal. I had a big, lengthy conversation about ice dams on your roof today. Hopefully you don't have to deal with that, but if you do, give us a call, tefirewater.com. Eagles survive the football team and shoddy workmanship on the railings in the stands. They win 20-16 in Washington. The way the Eagles run the football, I got to believe nobody wants any part of the big system when it comes down to it in the playoffs. Eagles look pretty damn good, maybe even ahead of schedule.
Nick Sirianni, if you ever want to criticize press conferences, can we just put that to bed, right? Eagle fan was sort of like Jet fan, that Adam Gase's press conference was so bad they wanted him out. And they did the same thing to him. They got him in the playoffs. It finally happened. There were times where Philly looked so far from being a playoff team this season. And now it's hard to even, like you said, is it the run game? Is it the coach figuring out the NFL? Is it the defense?
The systems.
Is it the systems? Like all that stuff. It worked. And also Washington stinks, and they're terrible, and they've got so many messes. You mentioned the stadium coming down. And then how about this? Our guy Instacam, who wrote this earlier. What do you guys think of the football team's going to be new nickname? Daniel Snyder pulls this constantly. Is there anything bad about our team out there? Yes. All right, put something out there quick. I don't know. Anything to cover it up. Hurry before someone notices.
Well, they're allegedly going to announce it on Groundhog Day. So allegedly we're going to find out who they're. So like my nephew just sent me a Groundhog logo, and they have bought the IP for the Washington Groundhogs. I don't think that's going to be it. They said it's not going to be the Red Wolves. It's not going to be the Wolves, but it's going to be something. I don't know what they'll do. I don't even know I care. I mean, there's so much wrong with Washington that I don't know where you start to fix it. Like, your owner is the one guy who doesn't get in trouble in a multi-million-dollar probe into the owner. Your head coach is a legend. I think Ron Rivera is one of the best, but who's your quarterback? Who's this? Who's that? The injuries. Your friggin' grounds crew. Between the heated seats not working for half the teams, now they can't keep the railing set. By the way, most underrated part of that video where the railing falls and Jalen Hurts is helping people up is the railing is sitting on one of the cameramen, and he's like side karate kicking people to try and get him off the railing. Watch it again. The cameraman who's like under, oh my God, he's like kicking. He's like, get off the railing. I want out of here. It's phenomenal. I want to hire the guy for the next season of Cobra Kai. No, I don't know where you start fixing that mess. I mean, obviously you would by getting rid of Daniel Snyder, but Daniel Snyder's might be the king of the NFL. because nobody survives the crap he survives. Nobody.
I want to know what he knows of how to like silence people. He is like I don't know what he has, some type of investigative unit that works for him that he constantly has this happen. I've heard a rumor now, again, social media rumor, that the reason why it's not going to be the Red Wolves, or they announced today, has nothing to do with trademarks. It actually was by far and away the most popular name, and they just can't do it for whatever reason. Maybe it's trademarks, maybe it's not. But the reason they said it's not going to be the Red Wolves is to calm people down. I heard a rumor it's actually going to be the Admirals, because they had a list of the top 8 names and it's not on there. But like you said, if you type in like Washington Admirals, it already links to the Washington football team website. So like they're trying to not let it leak, but you've got so many sleuths out there. Even Andrew Marchand for the Post said, you know what we all should do to destroy Daniel Snyder? I think he offered money. Whatever reporter can scoop this before Daniel Snyder, I'm going to give them cash. And I would have said to Andrew Marchand, here comes Daniel Snyder, look
out. I mean, he's going to drop faster than
Mr. Snyder. I'm sorry, Mr. Snyder. I don't want him to come at me, and it's Mr. Snyder. How dare I?
I was broke yesterday. I'll be broke tomorrow. Scumbag Snyder. All right. Keeping on with the rapid recap on a Tech East Tuesday. Levack and Goz here with you. Of course, you can check us out on the Tech East Facebook page. You can also check out the Godzilla Media YouTube. Everywhere you listen to your podcast, we are there. That's right. While you're taking a 2 and you listen to a podcast, our glowing voices are in your ears. Whatever you need, we're there for you. This is what
that sounds like a T-shirt, Levack. When you're taking a 2, Levack and Goz are there for you.
Right. The 2 to listen to while you're taking a 2 in 22.
Yeah.
Pat and Penny. I think time for Levaction finally needs to be made. By the way, I'm ready for it. Rams survive a little bit of a scare from the Ravens 2019. Like the saying in boxing is styles make fights. The Ravens have the ability to ugly up any game. They really their star power, talent, health. They should not have been on the field with the Rams, and they almost beat the Rams. They had their number. Ravens are a scary team. I think it's the kind of win that helps the Rams to lead them, propel them even to my prediction of them winning the Super Bowl being real.
Ooh, go back and place another wager before the playoffs. Double down on the bet.
Every time I go, another $5 to $10 goes on the Rams.
I love it. I love trailing the bets. One of my favorite things to do. Back to Baltimore. This will never happen. I know it's all about wins and losses in the NFL. Totally get it. John Harbaugh, for what he did for this team, he's not going to win Coach of the Year. I wish he'd get some votes. I know he went for 2 twice and went 0 for 2, and people will say that's the reason why he shouldn't. We could run through these injuries. My God, you just said it. Like, there was no reason this Baltimore team should be in these games. That is all coaching for John Harbaugh. It was just injuries upon injuries. As for the Rams, Cooper Kupp is having a great season. Like, we're talking a Hall of Fame all-time great. Yes. And I couldn't tell you what Cooper Kupp's voice sounds like. I'm not even convinced if I know what he looks like yet. Like, it is almost silent of what Cooper Kupp's doing still.
That is true. Like, even Stafford doesn't talk much. You're a quarterback on the best professional football team in LA. And nobody's like, hey, every once in a while, how's everything going? Been really good. Everything's been great. Wasn't he? I think did he do the Manning cast? He did something, either Manning cast or Pat McAfee show or something. He was on something and he spoke, and I still don't. It was like Men in Black. Like, here, look at this, and I don't remember it. You're right. Like, how you could be the LA team and nobody. Aaron Donald wouldn't say poop if he had a mouthful of it. Like, how do you have the second biggest media market and nobody knows who any of these guys are, even the stars that we already know who they are? It's crazy.
Yeah, and like Jared Goff is dating a model, and we kind of knew about him a little bit on Hard Knocks and Marcus Peters, but these guys are different. And Sean McVay's, I guess, the personality of that team now. And Odell's been really good, by the way, for the Rams. Like, really good.
Did you see him punch a guy in the ass? I mean, like, yes. He's like, Antonio Brown's getting all the headlines? Oh! No, it's trying to punch the balls out. I mean, the ball out. That's all it was, I swear. Speaking of LA, Chargers beat a terrible Broncos team 34-13. What a difference a QB makes yet again. Justin Herbert, in this game, 35th passing touchdown, passes Phillip Rivers for the single season record for Chargers touchdown passes. He had 34 back in 2008. As good as Rivers was, as good as some of the historic quarterbacks of the Chargers have been, Herbert is now the single season touchdown pass leader. Oh, and by the way, he did it in 16 games. So everything's gravy from here. You can't do the asterisk. Well, Rivers only had 16. He did it in 16. Herbert, that damn good.
He's so fun to watch. He's so much better than I ever thought he'd be. I got him so wrong. He was not this good in college. I'll probably say it until he retires. He's so good. And flip it over to Denver. They have to seriously think about clearing house on Black Monday coming up. If they fire everybody, I'm talking Vic Fangio, the GM, they get a new quarterback. They got to hit the reset button in Denver. It has been a mess since Peyton left. And everybody, like from Elway, who was making awful decisions as the management voice for a while. Hell, you can go back to ownership. The whole situation with Pat Bowlen and the family fighting for the team, it's like a bad episode of Succession meets Empire. The whole thing's a mess in Denver. And I don't know, Bronco fan, it might take a lot more for this team to get back because of how competitive that AFC West is and how much of a mess the organization is. And you've never, ever used to say that about the Denver Broncos.
The only way I say leave it the way it is, because that defense is still pretty stellar, is if you think you can legitimately get Aaron Rodgers. Like if you think you legitimately, like if there's a conversation in back channels that we don't know about, maybe Jake from State Farm is the intermediary, I don't know. But like that's the only way you leave it the way it is. But I think Vic Fangio is going to be on his way out. And I'll be the first to put my hand up in the air. Whoever the next head coach of the Raiders is, if Fangio is out there and you don't at least interview him to be your defense coordinator, we will have words, because the guy is a great defensive mind. I don't think he's a terrible head coach. I just don't think you're going to war with Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, and then I don't know. I thought maybe you played quarterback this week. I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't want them to get Aaron Rodgers. Can you imagine being a Raiders fan then? Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Aaron Rodgers. And I'm sitting over looking at Derek Carr going, I liked you yesterday. You were good yesterday. Now I'm a little concerned. Now I'd like to renegotiate this whole contract situation. Moving on. 49ers, 23-7 over the Texans. I feel like the 49ers are like the island of misfit toys. Like they've got guys who play amazing for them, but I don't know if they work on any other team. Like Trey Lance, is he work other places? Brian Ayuk, all these guys, like these guys who are like Swiss Army knives for them and just do amazing for Shanahan. Do you really want them on Tampa? Do you think they'd survive in Vegas? Like something about Shanahan knowing who he wants, and even though they've had a lot of injuries and they're not going to be nearly what they should have been this year, he still just has a way of coaching. I don't know if anybody else does.
It's a combination of both Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And now I'm a little biased because that's my guy. I'm a Buccaneer fan for the GM, but thinking about it from the perspective that we all have, does it seem like there's any better connection of, okay, coach, who do you need? Hey, I need this guy, this guy, this guy. Oh, you need him because of, and Lynch is a football guy who knows, oh, this, there you go. Like no big names, no big contracts. Deebo Samuel's a fantasy star. Okay, I'll give him that. George Kittle's got some good numbers too. But when you think about that overall Niner team, it seems like Kyle Shanahan knows the players he wants, has a football conversation with John Lynch about it. John Lynch gives him what he needs, and it's a great credit to San Francisco's organization. They got it so wrong when they went with Belke over Harbaugh, and they got it so right when they gave a huge contract to Shanahan and Lynch and said, you guys are in this together, and they succeeded because of it.
The only head coach GM combo that might be better is Bill Belichick and Bill Belichick. That might be the only one that's a little more in lockstep.
That's right. Okay.
Like realistically, that might be the only one. Like there's good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. Like there's nice combinations, but you're right. Like they brought them both in. They gave them both 6+ year contracts. Like, hey, you got time, put it together. It was a really smart move and well done. Well done from the Niners on that aspect. Maybe one day it'll turn into wins, more wins at least. The Arizona Cardinals kind of made me question how good I thought the Cowboys were. 25-22 victory. I thought this was going to be like the game to watch. I just wasn't. It didn't wow me the way I hoped it would, and I expected the Cowboys to win, and they did not.
That game for me turned into, you know what? I'm cool with Tampa playing Arizona in the first round. Then you watch the game. Do they have to? I don't want to play them anymore. No. I don't want to do that. Good for Arizona. Really good team. Going to be a fun team to watch come postseason time because of all the playmakers they got. That's going to be whoever they play, that feels like a fourth quarter game-winning touchdown, game-winning field goal game. So even if you're not a Cardinal fan, I feel like they're going to be exciting on whatever playoff night they get.
And like Kingsbury has changed what I think of him as a coach. I thought he was like a one-trick pony kind of air raid guy, but he's got this team playing physical football, and it's not as exciting. It's not going to be, on as many top 10 lists, but W's are W's, and I think you bring a great point. Like, yeah, I want the Cardinals to play them. Like, I don't want them right now. No thanks. How about the Seahawks? They figured it out. The Seahawks finally figured out how to be the Seahawks. 51-29 win. All they would need to do is play the Lions every week.
The Lions are so bad.
It's so
The
bad.
Lions stink.
It's so bad.
Rashad Penny, the running back for the Seahawks. This guy was a complete, total bust. Terrible. All of a sudden, the Seahawks just have everybody get hurt. They're like, hey, what is that kid from San Diego State who stunk? Penny? Is he still
for your
out there?
thoughts?
You could make a case over the last month of the season. He is a top 2 or 3 running back in the league for his stats, like touchdowns, yardage, impact for the team. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if it's one of these old football guys where it's like, hey, it's either now or I'm going to get cut and never play football again. My life is on the line as an NFL player, and he stepped up and he's probably made himself a ton of cash for the future.
Russ Wilson, Seahawk next year or Giant?
I will say he's going to be in Seattle, but I know by the time May hits or April, I might be in the minority on that opinion. I feel like that is going to be the Dak Prescott, Odell Beckham Jr. That storyline is going to dominate the summer throughout football season.
It'll be interesting to see who gets the job first, Rodgers or Russell. Like, will they how just switch, guys? Just flip. That'll be fun for everyone. Levack and Goz, Techies Tuesday, live from our separate abodes because one of us was under the weather today. Me. I did not watch a second of the Saints 18-10 victory over the Panthers. I did not watch 1 second. As a matter of fact, when it came up on red zone for like 15 seconds, I left the room. I just had no interest. It was a bad game. 18-10. Whatever.
Thing's a mess. You can fire Matt Rule if you want in Carolina. Carolina's a mess. New Orleans, I cannot believe you're still a playoff team. There's the scenario where the Saints get in the playoffs. And how? But okay, fine. And I wish I could tell you, well, I want to play them. As a Buccaneer fan, I want to play the Saints. Nope. All I do is beat us in the regular season. So I didn't want to touch that one either.
How about the battle of the anti-vax quarterbacks? Packers take out the Kirk Cousins-less Minnesota Vikings 37-10. Sean Mannion, who was it? I don't know. Some baseball player tried to play quarterback for the Vikings. Didn't work out. Pack get it done 37-10.
Earlier in the not-so-rapid recap, I said what an easy win it was to pick the Patriots over the Jags. Some idiot picked the Vikings over the Packers. That was me, and that was a bad pick. Like, especially
you did before the quarterback, though, didn't you?
I did. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Because I think that's a lot closer game. Even though I like Kirk Cousins, at least he's an NFL quarterback.
Yes, and in that second quarter in particular, that's when he knew the game was over because Rodgers looked like, all right, enough's enough. I'm just going to destroy Minnesota. Viking fan, our guy Matthew Collar did this. He had a tweet from like every way the Viking season has ended from 2015 to 2021. All of them are heartbreakers, like blowout losses, that teams you should have beat, missed field goals, missed extra points, missed out. I'm like, oh God, if you're a Viking fan, like you guys, every year you got to. I don't think Zimmer's a terrible coach. Dalvin Cook's awesome. Justin Jefferson's a star. Just the games you need to win, it never happens. It just gets left over the table every single year for that team.
Well, and then they asked Zimmer if he wanted to see Kellen Mond in this next game. He's like, nah, I see him in practice. It's like, tell me you want to be fired without telling me you want to be fired. Don't put the young quarterback in and see what he's got. That's what that is. Speaking of young quarterbacks, Big Ben's last Pittsburgh game was last night. He's not young. He's terrible. That's a battle of crappy quarterbacks. Steelers ended up winning because Najee Harris ran like a madman. 26-14. Get this. Ben Roethlisberger and Baker Mayfield combined for 308 passing yards on 84 attempts. Per Elias Sports, the 3.67 yards per attempt is the lowest combined rate in a game in NFL history with a minimum of 80 attempts.
We mentioned Saints-Panthers was bad. This, from a visual perspective, might have been worse. I want to start with Baker first, though. We've had a lot of conversations about Baker Mayfield. Coming out of the draft, you thought he was going to be very good. My wife became a big fan of Baker Mayfield. My heart breaks for Baker for this reason. This guy wanted in this final season to lead Cleveland to the playoffs, to be the man, to put the Browns in the right direction, all that rah-rah good stuff. He's been hurt for 2 months. I think he's going to look back on his career and be like, you know what? being a tough guy, being a leader, all that stuff might have cost you your starting job in Cleveland, might have cost you millions of dollars. And I think you might even think he might not be a starter again. Like, he's been that bad the last 2 months where what you said on draft day might be proven that he got his 4-year contract and it might have cost him a starting job in the league for the future.
I think the important things to realize is that I was right, and head coach of the Albany Patroons, Will Brown, was wrong. I think that's the important thing to remember.
I'll put that up. Jonathan wanted to see how right you were, too, so I'll just leave that up while you finish this point.
Yes, thank you. I like that, Jonathan. Thank you for realizing that. I think he's actually a Broncos fan, too. And the one thing that Mayfield still has going for him is it's such a weird quarterback class scenario going into next year. He could be a starter somewhere. Like, he could be a bridge quarterback, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, whatever. How funny would that be? Get, shown the door in Cleveland, end up in Pittsburgh and not be terrible. Like, that, it would make me laugh, to be honest with you. But look, there's a lot of guys who aren't great quarterbacks in the NFL. A lot of them. He just happens to be one of them. That's all.
Yeah, man, Baker, dude. Should have got the surgery. And one other thing about Roethlisberger. How much did you want to puke during that game? Because you can't stand Big Ben. But, like, the lack of people – and, look, we let off this podcast talking about Antonio Brown and the shield that mental health gets. Yeah. In the world of everybody getting canceled, NBC's parading around Ben Roethlisberger like that, just ignoring everything that happened in his career. Like, this is the moment if you want to cancel an athlete, don't want to honor an athlete, here's the guy. But they decided, no, we're going to honor Big Ben. I would have puked like you if you're not a Big Ben fan. You had to go through that nonsense last night.
You know how they do the ESPN does the great auction for the V Foundation and all that stuff? I would have paid real money to watch that game with James Harrison. Because he would have torn him apart. Remember, let me tell you, he doesn't flush the toilet. Like, he's just like everything that's terrible about Ben, he would have got all in one. It would have been the only way to like level out the ass kiss fest that he got. Most underrated head coaches. You already gave us John Harbaugh. That's one. Mike Tomlin, who every time that they don't win it all, and stupid Steeler fans starts talking about getting rid of. So he's now been 500 or better in 15 straight seasons. That breaks a tie with Marty Schottenheimer's record for the longest non-losing seasons from a head coach. So Mike Tomlin, he's Omar Epps. He is phenomenal. Let him go. I'll take him in Vegas. Let him go. He looked good in silver and black.
Enough, Pittsburgh. You guys all are not allowed to complain about Mike Tomlin ever again after watching Antonio Brown. This guy's a Hall of Fame coach, and if whenever he wants to retire, he's going to an analyst or broadcaster job. He's done a tremendous job with Pittsburgh. Oh, and fantasy football manager.
He can't be an analysis. He can't be an analyst. He can't do it. Can you imagine that? He spent so much time not saying anything. Like, Coach Tomlin, what do you think of this? I don't think nothing of it. What I say to the wall in my basement is what I think of it. Well, what can you do that now? Because we're paying it. Nope. But that's why you're here. That's why you're here. But what? I don't understand. You want the Notre Dame job? And he just storms off.
He would be like a mix between like Herm Edwards and John Madden, because like what you just said right there is perfect.
Whoa! How dare you say those two names together?
Because Levack's ultimate hate and love. What I mean by that is the impression you just did of Tomlin is spot on, because he doesn't say much, but he's very strict. But his expressions, like, what the hell were you just saying? Yelling at a wall of what? That's Mike Tomlin. Like, in those press conferences, he says such bizarre, unique analogies and comparisons. You're just like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but it seemed like some good insight. Or there's going to be some guy on some farm be like, oh, like that trained rabbit that hits my wall. I know, coach. I know what you're – all right.
Actually, put him with Dickie V for anything.
Yes.
Like, all right, here we go. Diaper Dandy. You are correct. Oh, so there is your rapid recap. I want to thank. I want to take a second here on Levack and Goz to say, well, Happy New Year to our friend Cindy Barton, Cindy Lou from Howard Hanna Realty. But I wanted right now to tell you about Doc Fred Dreer and the Integrative Sleep Center in Ballston Spa. The Integrative Sleep Center in Ballston Spa just has been one of my best friends, and they've taken great care of me for years and years now. Mouthpiece allows me to get good night's sleep. I think it's also one of the reasons that I've been able to handle all the world's stress and crap, because I'm actually sleeping. It's been so amazing. Crashed at a friend's house the other night. Mouthpiece, didn't shake the rafters, didn't have to hear about a polar bear attacking their house in the middle of the night because of the snoring, and just sleeping better. Sleep apnea is under control. Everything has been way better. 518-885-6185. 518-885-6185. Before you say, oh, but Levack, I don't want to wear the mask. I'm not talking about a mask. It's a mouthpiece. Simple, easy to use, easy to clean, easy to travel with, makes all the difference in the world. Just keeps your airway open. It allows you to get more air without a machine forcing it down your throat. 518-885-6185. 518-885-6185. Dr. Fred Dreer in the Integrative Sleep Center in Boston Spa. Help me sleep better. I'm going to help you sleep better too. Levack and Goz. I don't want to talk about college football. I don't want to talk. I don't want to. I'm rocking my Michigan stuff. I have been all week. I've been getting crap for it, but that's what you do. You rock your team's apparel, whether they win or lose. And Georgia was just a better all-around team. Just Michigan did not belong on the field with them. They really, really didn't. Georgia's that damn good. So congratulations, Georgia, and let's see Bama, Georgia, round 2.
That bummed me out so much on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I'm here. You're hanging out with Boston, Dan. It's a perfect New Year's Eve because some people might have been not going out to the regular parties because of COVID and everything else. So you might have had a better audience than I even projected. I know I was trashing it that I was on New Year's Eve. And both games in the second quarter, I'm just man, can't we make some of it competitive? You knew once the Alabama game wasn't as bad as the Notre Dame national championship game, but it was so obvious. They can't stop Robinson. They shouldn't be on the field, these guys. You just mentioned Michigan. They couldn't move the ball. Georgia was just smoking them. So you watched it. Do we need a change? This is 7-8 years in a row where these semifinal games are averaging 3 touchdown blowouts. People are watching these games. I told you it was the image means everything game. It feels like it's the SEC and everybody else. How we might get a top 25 poll next year where it's basically all the SEC teams all high up there.
I mean, I've wanted more anyway. I think the best way to do it is the champion from all Power 5. Make them have a championship game. Every champion gets in. I love the idea of 3 from elsewhere, at least 2 of those being, the other 5. But I maybe it has to be more because I think if you just do the champs from the Power 5s, and you lose out on a team like Bama or Georgia or whoever, we might have to jump right to 16. We might jump right to 16 teams. You win the Power 5, you're in. You win the other 5, you're in, and then the rest come from however we put it together. You get 6 basically at-large bids, and we're already admitting that the student part of student athlete is less important because look how long this has been going on. This bowl season. 40 plus bowls. A lot of these schools are either closed or the students aren't allowed or something like that. They're still piling the kids on the buses and the planes. Give them that ultimate chance to show off, raise their draft stock. That's a whole lot of other kids because me, guys. Everything is how do I get these guys who are preparing for the draft to want to play? So the Barstool Bowl, I think, was one thing where you just do something completely different. But more playoff games means more high-profile student athletes, college players playing in it. I think you raise it. Go 16 right now.
Yes. Okay, so this is going to sound like I'm arguing against my own point that I agree with you on, but hang with me here. So, okay, I'm with you on expansion because exactly what you just said. If you're a college football player, you've never in the history of the sport given an opportunity to benefit from your likeness, image, success, team success than right now. So if you're going to complain about staying over for winter break or you're saying the season's too long, this might be it. Just look at the percentages. There's a huge number of college kids that will never play in the NFL. This is your run. You signed up to be a D1 athlete. There you go. Okay. So I'm with you. I like 16. And if you want to cut out those FCS games against opponents or you want to move the season back, fine. Figure out the money situation or hell, tell the ADs you're going to make more money. I'm with you on expansion.
Right.
I think we do need to realize for the people that are criticizing the playoff, this is how college football has been for a long time.
Right.
Even now, okay? So Division III, it's always, over the last 20 years, Mountain Union versus Wisconsin Whitewater. It's rare you don't get those games. In FCS, it's always North Dakota State. They've always been that team over the last decade. In the FBS, SEC team, LSU, Bama, Georgia, SEC team comes and goes in and out of that spot. And Clemson, I know they're ACC, but they're in that spot.
Well, Ohio State, but they're the exceptions. There's almost always 2 SEC schools.
Yeah, and in the old BCS days, I might look this up. I'm like, there's no way this is right. When the BCS started in 98, January of 98 to whenever it wrapped, I think it's 2013, 16 games. 10 of the 16 were double-digit victories. Some of them were 4 touchdown victories. Margin of victory in BCS national championship games, 2 touchdowns. So it's not like we got these great games. The reason we remember Texas and LSU with Vince Young is because it was a great game. The reason we remember Ohio State's pass interference against Miami, great game. Like, there's only a handful of games over 20 years that were actually good. Now, that's probably a problem too, but we hope that if we get some good games of that 16-team playoff, can we try to find something competitive? Because that's got to be the answer. That's why I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, you see it like college basketball. You got the one-bid leagues, you got this, you got that. Like, those conference tournaments have a little bit of swag because of that. So you bring a point. Maybe 1 or 2 less regular season games. Maybe this, maybe that. Again, just stop pretending that it's not about money. And that's the other thing too. Remember, these guys get endorsement money now. So you're telling me I got a chance to make endorsement money on 3 playoff games instead of 1 or 2. Like, it's as long as there's compensation, as long as we're stopping playing the game of, well, their education comes first for us. No, it doesn't. You don't care about their education at all. Hell, most of them don't care about their education. Most of them are hoping, be healthy, make sure they call my name in April, and I'll do 3 years of this crap, and I'll be fine. Like, that's what most guys. That's what I would do if I had the ability. Sure, I'll pay enough attention. I don't want to look stupid. I want people to think I'm smart. But you know what's gonna look really smart? When they hold that number 1 jersey up with my name, as we get, one day in April. That's what makes me look super smart. So I think just go for it. Just do it right. Just go all the way in.
Did you hear the take, by the way, of that went viral this past week of Herb Street and Desmond Howard and David Pollack arguing about bowl games and saying players don't love football as much anymore? I know you've been on the side of, if you want to skip a bowl game, you got to finish it off with your team, but I think they took it way further than that, because everyone sniffed them out. They're like, hey guys, you work for ESPN, you've got a bunch of bowl games canceled. Now is not the time to pout. With COVID involved, like, okay, guys. And by the way, they're broadcasting from an empty Rose Bowl for the 2nd day in a row for College Game Day to fit all the last sponsors in before the end. We're like, hey, no. Now's not the time, guys. Now's not the time.
But you know what, though? Here's the situation. It's real. A lot of the guys just don't care about the bowl games anymore. That's why I've been saying, okay, look, I'm over playing for honor. Like, I get it. That's just not going to be an argument I'm going to win. I get that. So what can I do? Like, as a fan of bowl games, as somebody who every once in a while people listen to, the Barstool Bowl, I thought that was a great thing because it's different, it's cool, it's hip. Make them cool and hip. I don't know anybody who's like, oh man, one day when I'm done, I'm going to know that I played in the Cheez-It Bowl. I'm going to know that I played the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Like, we don't even say the name of the bowl anymore. We say who the sponsor is. So let's do it like, all right, listen, you want to pay all this money, the Dr. Pepper toilet bowl, whatever the hell it is, you got to bring a marketing plan with you. How are we making this cool? How are we making this into something that these guys think this is an experience of a lifetime? I cannot pass it up. More playoff games. Companies like Barstool coming in and getting involved. I don't know who else. Like ESPN, you could make it cooler. You actually have more. You and Fox Sports could make all of this shit way cooler, but instead it's just like, but if we have every game, we'll luck on to something. Like, no, just make them cool, make things cooler, have more fun with it, do more.
By the way, our very bowly situation we had.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Justin M is dominating. Now I think it's over. It's between me, somebody named Power Hitter, and Justin. And Justin left you a comment on Facebook and said, "Can I get an Empire ring if I win the bowl championship?"
He said a championship ring if he wins it. And the answer is yes. An order of championship onion rings for you, Justin, if you win it. because we're going to meet you for happy hour. Goz is paying for everything.
No. That was not.
That's what
You said you were paying for happy hour of whoever won this thing, which it could still be me. But Justin, I saw your number on the side. I don't know why the points went different. He had a 95% hit rate. He had at one point. I don't know if that's where he's ranking amongst bowl. Unbelievable. And he's been done. He left us a comment like when it was like 5 bowl games, and he's like, guys, I'm doing great. And he has rode that wave. So Justin, if we're all hanging out, I know you're a big football fan, so I'm cool doing a happy hour with you. Probably, hopefully, here in January.
Yeah, right on the Godzilla Media Company card. I think it's where it's got to go, and it's gonna be great. I'm very excited. But no, it's gonna be fun. Like I think I probably can weasel a little extra love out of the orange roof. I feel like we can do that. Will Justin come out? Well, if Justin wins, now you can still win. Is that what you're trying to?
I believe I can't see his picks. I hope he's got Bama winning the championship. I have Georgia. I'm not sure who Power Hitter has. I did pick Georgia at the start. I believe that's the bonus that can put me over the top. So there's only 2 bowl games left. I think the LSU game's still out there. And
tonight. Well, depending on when you listen to this. If you're listening and watching live, LSU K-State tonight in the I don't give a crap about this bowl, and then the championship game. That's it. Like, why would you put a bowl game on Tuesday night after everybody's already done in this? Like, and two good programs. I mean, they're not great teams this year, but they're 2 good programs, and you just cram them in willy-nilly on a Tuesday night.
Ooh, I got this one. Call on me. I got the answer.
Okay. Goz, please, with the answer.
Money.
Oh.
Time slot. Take out 4 hours for a window. Don't let it get overlapping with another bowl game. Give them their own night, own advertisement, own money. Don't put it online. Nobody's watching anything on a Tuesday. Get that money.
This is why I know I don't gamble like I used to, because I don't care about this game one bit. Where I know when it was like I would have this thing broken down 17 ways for Sunday. I'd be ready to hop on the jet to Vegas or Atlantic City or go to Vinny the Fish's house and make the wager. I can't wrap my brain around why I care about LSU versus K-State. I just can't. I don't care. I just can't.
It feels like a filler. It feels like a filler game. I totally get it, man. Levack, I kind of want to close with this because you got a lot of rapid fire questions today about the Albany Empire and your Facebook. I want to get to those, and I'm sure some people have just waited to the end of the podcast. You got them in front of you? You want to ask them, and then I'll... I got them in front of me, but some people may have waited to the end of the podcast to hear their own shout-out, but this is probably the longest this guy's ever waited for his shout-out on our podcast, and that's Jared Lozier, our friend over in Northeastern Insurance. His Indianapolis Colts are in a weird spot, but hopefully they beat the Jags and he'll be okay. 2022 is officially here. You're looking at your money, your finances. You're wondering, can I save a few dollars somewhere, especially for the things that are important to me for insurance? Have somebody shop the market for you, and that's our guy, Jared Lozier. Give him a call. Email him. All those ways to connect with him. His email, jaredl@nemail.com. If you were in our Boldy pool, by the way, we saw some of your creative names. I ask you all the time, get creative with your emails to Jared. He'll get back to you probably faster, although he'll get back to you no matter what. Get that email, jaredl@nemail.com, or give him a call today. Anytime you want, day or night. He's promised me he'll answer the phone. He will do that. His number.
What little he knows about karma, he knows about all of this. This is what he knows.
That's right. Give him a call today. Jared Lozier, shopping the rates for you. 518-956-3753. 518-956-3753.
Yeah, I posted the Nate Hobbs story, the Raiders cornerback who is being charged with DUI, on Facebook, and I said, wow, if the Raiders win, they're a playoff team. Nate Hobbs, hold my beer. Don't worry, it's empty. And Lozier writes, it's karma. And I wrote, that makes no sense. I don't think you know what karma means. And he wrote back, you're right. I'm just still upset about the Colts losing to the Raiders. So I respect the hell out of the second comment as much as I wanted to destroy it for the first. The second comment made it funny as hell. That guy's on the Techies Tuesday. He's a good dude. He's small doses. Like a professional setting, I like him. Everywhere else, I want to hit him in the nuts with a golf club. I mean, that's just what I would do.
You had both Ryan and Daryl on Twitter. Levack, are the Albany Empire considering signing Antonio Brown? How many times you got to tell me you don't do roster moves?
I don't do roster moves. I would 1,000,000% sign him. I would 1,000,000, just because how many tickets am I going to sell for game one? And then when he freaks out and leaves, Like, everybody who bought season tickets because of it are going to be pissed. But, yeah, to sell tickets, I would sign AB. I would. I would definitely want to, like, carpet tape that double-sided his jersey and everything on, so I don't want him throwing that in the stands when he storms off, any of those things. But, historically speaking, it wouldn't be bad to have, touchdown Antonio Brown on the field for us.
That's right. It's just kind of play mind games and be like, how how many yards your dad put up, and just have him randomly compete with his dad. I love that idea. Corey's got a graphic. Our pal Corey in Greenwich. Will Michigan be back, and will Harbaugh be back, or to the Bears?
Actually, my nephew Zach just messaged me right before the show started. He asked me if I wanted Harbaugh to be the Raiders coach. I would totally take that. I don't think Harbaugh leaves, because you think about it. He was willing to take less money to get here, and now everybody wants him. You've been grooming your quarterback. You're right into a Georgia team. Nobody thought Michigan would be in the playoffs this year. Nobody. Who's got better than us? Nobody. Who thought we would be this good? Nobody. Like, everybody should be thrilled they did as well as they did, and everybody should be thrilled to see what they're going to do next. So I think he's going to stay right there in Ann Arbor. But if not, I think Chicago's going to have a run for their money. There's going to be a lot of teams looking at him because he's Harbaugh again.
All right, we got two questions here from Dan, one for you, one for me. Simple question. I don't know if I actually got a pick out of you. Are the Raiders going to the playoffs? Do you want to save that for our weekend show, or do you want to give a pick right now?
I'll do it now. I might change my mind between now and then, because God knows how many more players will get arrested. I'd say yeah. I'd say yeah. I think they can beat the Chargers, and like I said, and the Titans will be waiting for them. That'll be the rub, if you will.
And Dan also asked me, do I think my Syracuse Orange are going to make the tournament? I've loved Syracuse my entire life. We all know that. You see the posters behind me. Every time I watch the Syracuse team, I'm like, oh my God, they're so good. They got all these shooters. They got all these great players. Just Gerard. Let's just act like the last two games didn't happen. But besides the last two games, he's been far and away the best basketball he's played for Syracuse. They can't play any defense, like anything. Jim Boeheim just went out and said, it's ridiculous. It's awful. It's embarrassing. He just ripped apart everybody, including his son, who said, he's my son. He needs to make some more free throws. I'm like, damn, Boeheim is not playing this year. They stink. And it breaks my heart every time I watch it, because I am every time so confident they're going to beat teams, and they don't, because they don't play defense. Now, next year, they got a top 10 recruiting class coming in. They got all the guys coming back. Maybe next year's the team that puts Boeheim off to the 2023. Both Boeheims will be seniors. They are not making the tournament. They are terrible. And I'm sure Levack has heard this about every single January, and he's waiting for March, where I change my tune.
I ran into, I was hanging out with Coach Gattuso, Albany football coach, Greg Gattuso. And we were I was telling him about how annoying, like, the Twitter terrorists are, and how much, like, now that I'm in, like, a front office situation for football, I feel completely different about how hard he and his staff work. And he goes, listen, I don't love the internet, mainly because I can still see guys jumping up and screaming in that really tight Syracuse shirt in the back of my brain and have nightmares about it. He recalls that, like, oh my God. He loves to bring that up. It's one of his least but yet most favorite memories in the history of the internet.
Coach is the man. One last one. I don't know if you can answer this one. Someone also wants to know, are the Albany Empire re-signing Darius Prince or Craig Peterson?
I don't do roster moves. I can tell you that I love Darius. Like, he's one of my favorite people on the planet. If it does work out where I would imagine Darius has got a million offers, like, from the USFL, all of them. So we'll just see what he does. Does he want to play Iron Man? Like, I can't hold it against anybody who doesn't want to do Iron Man when you're that damn good at wide receiver. So it's that's more of a Coach Manas question, but I think realistically speaking, we won't have that answer until all of these leagues because that's what I see it all the time. Why haven't you re-signed this one? Why isn't this guy signed yet? Why is that? Well, one of the reasons is they still have a million options. Like, they have a million options, and we won't know Darius's availability until Darius knows his availability. But if it's one of those things where they go to me, hey, Levack, you want Darius Prince back? I'll just start signing pieces of paper, and you just put his contract in front of me, and I'll sign it. Craig Peterson, Craig, he's a hell of a kicker. I know he's another guy who's in demand. He's a local guy. I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen him. There's it's a different market. The kicker market's a little different. Like there's guys out there coming out of the woodwork right now who are just like, I can kick. So I would assume Craig will be somewhere else. Last I talked to him, he was talking about moving down to Florida and playing in Florida. But I would say neither are super likely at this moment just because the amount of guys we've already signed and because of the different league. But I would probably put Darius ahead of Peterson at this exact second in time. But that's me almost being like you, because coach doesn't call me and go, who do you think I should sign? Like, hey, you built a championship roster in 10 days and then you built a roster that could beat that roster. I've been working on airfare with Delta. That's what I've been trying to do. So it's not, it's basically fan speculation on my part.
We've played a little bit through 2021 in our new format here with segments that might or might not work. Like we've done the list. We had that situation happen. We had another segment that I'm blanking on right now that we used to do every single week. Oh, non-traditional headlines. Yeah. This I enjoy. The Q&A for the day to close out a podcast.
I do.
I'm loving this right now. So this might be a 2022 thing.
Because I was sitting here waiting, like some equipment I had to order for Tech East as well as the Empire. So I'm sitting there waiting for it. I'm like, I wonder if people would actually ask questions. And like what bothered me is like Boston Dan sent me and you a question off me. I was like, dude, just write it on the damn, like let's go, let's have fun with it. That's all week too. Just if you want to send questions in, I'm down. I think it's fun. I may not always remember to post it early.
Yeah, like the Ask Me Anything stuff that a lot of other people do is like too wild. The Q&A for the day to close out every podcast is something that you guys have done a great job with today, which I want to continue to do in 2022. And I want to close with this. I want to be selfish and get the final question from you. What the hell's up with the NAL not clearing it with me to release the schedule? Because I was supposed to be doing a release show with you. What are they doing? The final week of December? We're supposed to have a whole blowout show at Tech East. Me and Santillo, we're supposed to be up there doing the whole thing with Kuip. What is it? Who do I complain to? And I want to start with you. Who do I complain to? Karen?
I would start with Christopher Siegfried, the commissioner of the NAL.
Give me his number.
Steven Chatola in the front office.
Sure.
It's one of those. Like, I didn't know they were going to do it the day they did it until that morning, because there are so many moving pieces when you talk about. You're not just talking about 6 teams. You're talking about 6 teams, 6 arenas, and then like the problems kind of spiderweb off of that. So like I got to talk to a couple of the other owners, a couple of other GMs, presidents, stuff like that. Thank God that we've got Bob Belber, Aaron Villeneuve. We've got the MVP arena, because they work with us so well. I've heard horror stories from other arenas. Like, yeah, well, we can't let you have that day because we're having a car show. Oh, you guys are doing like a technology car show. No. The guy who owns the arena's son is having like 15 cars over at his restaurant, and they're all going to be there, so we can't staff the arena. It's like that's, I'm exaggerating, but it's like that annoying. It's that bad. Thank God for the MVP arena. So yeah, it just came together, and when it finally came together, in the interest of it not leaking, they dropped it. They put it out, and I'm psyched.
Fine.
Listen, are you coming back? Are you going to?
Of course. Yes, I cannot wait.
All right, I'll consider offering you the job then.
You know what? I was going to say I'd consider, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take the job no matter what.
Oh, damn it. Well, one piece of Empire news: Best Fitness in Albany this Saturday, starting at noon. Empresses tryouts. So we've been promoting it a little bit here and there. We've got a great group of Empresses looking to come back. Christina, who is the head of the Empresses, she put a routine together. Eric over at Best Fitness was like, I want you guys to come do a class / tryout here at Best Fitness. The girls worked out here all last year. The guys are going to work out here. So we're looking forward to that. So this Saturday starting at noon. And if you want in, just email me, Levack at AlbanyEmpireNAL.com. If you're a dancer and you're like, hey, I want to get in, just email me and we'll get you set up. I'll let you know exactly where to be and when to be there. But Saturday noon over at Best Fitness, I will have the horrible and just taxing job of being there to make sure it all runs appropriately and watching these extremely talented women dance.
As your pending Albany Empire broadcaster, I will make sure to share that on social media. And please, is there any rumors? And I say please in the sense of don't build the statue of me falling off of the rowing machine and just pulling the blanket up. I don't know if I'm even allowed back in there after the hole that was, I assume, damaged. It's like drawn out on there. It's bad.
That would be the best bobblehead ever. Just you wobbling on the rower. I've always wanted the bobbleheads for the show. Well, me, I don't really care about you, but that right there would have been like it just show you wobbling as you're falling off of the rowing machine. Oh, that would be phenomenal. I'm in. Let's do it.
Now I feel like when I promote the Albany Empire Empress's dance tryout, the new staff that's come, all that, I feel like that should be tagged on social. Like just the second photo is just like on Instagram, and then there's me flying off.
I think I finally deleted it off my phone. I used to have it with me at all times, just in case.
My wife has it. Don't you worry. She has it.
Listen, seriously. That's if I could hire anyone to produce this show, it's her, because she finds the best videos and pictures of you. And if she doesn't have them, she will take them when you're not paying attention. She is phenomenal. The best double agent ever is your beautiful wife. And your son still hates me. So hey, what are you gonna do? See, he just agreed. You heard it. All right, it's time. Is it that time?
We're all done.
Tuesday in the books. When are we doing this again?
I don't know. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, depending on how the world comes together. It's a weird world here to start off this first week of January. You're busy on Saturday. We'll figure something out. At some point, we're either going to do one of these on Friday or maybe on Sunday. We'll figure it out.
I mean, hell, I'm not opposed to doing it in the parking lot out in front of Best and then going inside or whatever.
If you want, I'm so in for that. Figure it out. I will. If you want to do something before Best Fitness on Saturday morning, I'll do it.
I'm shocked that the Hideaway hasn't called us for Sunday. Like that's what I'm shocked about.
Here's the thing about the Hideaway. I talked to Chad.
I'm throwing you under the bus, Chad.
Week 18, we're usually there for the 1 o'clock games. The 1 o'clock week 18 slate is notoriously known as being the worst games of the year because none of them have any impact on the schedule or anything else. So, but playoffs not too far away. Bills fans, Patriot fans,
Raiders fans,
Raiders.
The Raiders. All right, Techies Tuesday in the books. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And guys, just pay attention to our socials. We'll let you know exactly when the next show is going to be, and you'll be able to pick it up on Apple and all those, and pears and watermelons. Oh my! Like we're everywhere. Well, that guys. Peace out, Girl Scout.